When it comes to real estate, everything matters. Whether you're a realtor, homeowner, buyer, or seller, Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title is here to inform, entertain, and inspire you. Host Bill Napick from Stewart Title will talk with guests about what really matters when it comes to owning, buying, and selling real estate. Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title starts right now. Here's your host, Bill Napick.
And welcome to the show, Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title. I am your host, Bill Napick. We march forth every week where we talk about real estate, Houston lifestyle, things that relate to the home, even helping people out. So we're glad that you tuned in, and we always have interesting guests. So whether you're listening here in Houston, Texas, Dallas, Texas, or anywhere else, we think you're going to enjoy the show because we always have great people, interesting topics all the time. And as always, we are sponsored by Stewart Insurance and Risk Management, where you can get home, auto, all kinds of insurance. Go to Stewart.com. And I am with Megan Abbott. She is an author of the current book called You Will Know Me. Megan, thank you and welcome to the show.
Oh, so happy to be here.
Well, books are such a part of everybody's life and they're inspiring. Let's tell people about the book that you have out now called You Will Know Me.
Great. Yeah, it's about the family of a prodigy. I've always been interested in the families of prodigies, a special child who has some kind of special talent, and what that does to a family, how it affects the power relations in the family. And so in this case, it's about the parents of a gymnast, a very high-achieving gymnast who's 15, and she's been doing it since she was 3, and the whole family is invested in it. And then something bad happens.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I won't spoil it.
We don't want to do that.
No.
But it is interesting because that is also an interesting age. At 15, now I am not finished with the book. I'm on page 200 as of this interview. And the intensity is actually, when I picked up the book and started, you could almost feel that intensity of the competitiveness, the drivenness of this individual, Devin in this case, right, and also the kind of tentacles that reach out to her family, and it's like a contagious thing, right?
Exactly. No, it's so true. Everybody, it's sort of, you want to do everything you can for your child. I think parents are very encouraged now to be more attentive to their children and more involved and to push them into things. So in the case when your child already has this ambition or dream, I think her parents really want to do everything they can to achieve it. And I think that of course, can become problematic in a family when they're all become so invested in this one thing, and the stakes get higher and higher.
And also, the other part, when we talk about the family, the mother, the father, she has a brother in this case, and he plays a role in the family too. And there's also the suggestion, or the feeling that maybe he's not getting as much attention, right? And that's a typical dynamic in a high achiever, right?
Exactly. I remember, not that it's about me, but I remember when I was a kid, my brother was a very good baseball player, really successful, and I was the kid, the sibling, younger daughter, I was the daughter, the sister in the bleachers through my whole childhood, having to watch all the games, and but I was not athletic and I was not involved in it. So there's the brother of Devin, Drew, in the book. There's a lot of that feeling, I think, of neglect that comes from me.
Well, let's tell people the inspiration, because now what number book is this for you?
This is my 8th. I can't believe
Your
it.
8th book.
Yes.
And I've just discovered you, so I'm already decided which book I'm going to read next in your arsenal of books. But as far as this book, You Will Know Me, what was the thing that inspired you to take someone that is the high achiever, the family dynamic, and even the competitiveness of her sport?
It's very rare that I have a moment where it's one moment of inspiration, but in this book I did. It was the last Olympics. It was exactly 4 years ago, the London Olympics, and we had a really successful gymnastics team as we're going through this time, and there was this viral footage of Allie Raisman, one of the gymnasts, of her parents watching her perform her uneven bars routine, and people thought it was really funny because the parents looked so nervous and they were so invested in it, and they were moving as she would move, and they were pumping their fists and cursing, and people made a lot of fun of it. It was almost like a Saturday Night Live skit. It was so over the top. But some people also criticized them as being stage parents, and all of it seemed really complicated. And I wondered what a marriage like that was like, and what a family like that was like, and how parents separate their own dreams from their child's.
That's right. We are, and I have a son, we are connected to our children, and when they succeed, we feel like we succeed, and when they fall short, it's like, oh no. But that's what it's like, and you describe that so well in this book. It's fascinating.
Right. I mean, I think, it's a good thing, but it's good to be, really connected to your children. It's what you want, but it can turn on a dime into something more complicated and painful for everybody. And I think a lot about kids that are very passionate about something like gymnastics or some kind of sport or piano or whatever, and they may at some point lose interest, but they even feel like they can, or they're allowed to, because now the whole family has become so invested in it. Gymnastics is a very expensive sport to involve your kids in. There might be a level of guilt on the child. My parents have done all this for me. I have to keep doing it for them. It's very hard to tell the difference, I think.
There's a lot of pressure. And when I remember opening the book, when we talk about gymnastics, I think it's very dangerous. So that right away you engage the reader if they're thinking about what's involved in gymnastics and how dangerous it is for a child, and then their parents, they want them to succeed, but they also want them to be safe too.
Absolutely. And gymnastics, you can break your neck, of course. I mean, it's sort of really kind of basic, and you're making your body do things it's really not supposed to do. And for parents to be a part of that, it's really a complicated feeling for them, I think, watching it, that they would be helping their child do this thing that puts them at risk constantly.
And also, you read the article just recently, about 2 weeks ago, in the Wall Street Journal. Fascinating how it talked about some of your ideas in writing and the pacing of the book, where you get the ideas. But let's tell people, you had the idea for the book, and then what do you do? Because a lot of people are out there thinking, hey, I can write a book. Mm-hmm. What do you do with that idea after you get it?
It's very, I've had a lot of false starts in all my books I've abandoned. Sometimes you don't know. You have an idea, you think it's going to work, you write 80 pages even, and you realize it hasn't caught fire, or there's something missing in it. For me, it's often once I have the voice of my main character, so much so that I feel like I'm thinking their thoughts, and until in the case of Katie, who's the mother in this book, it took me a while. I'm not a mother, and I'm not the mother of a prodigy either, so it took me a while to understand her, and I wanted her to be sympathetic and not a stereotype of a stage mother. So once I had her voice, it was just a matter of putting her in these escalating situations and seeing what she would do, and at a certain point she sort of told me what she was going to do, so it's a gradual process. In terms of the suspense, that's a lot of revision, to make sure, you end up cutting a lot. We want to keep it tight. You want to keep the reader engaged. You don't want their eyes to drift. We have a lot of distractions now in the world, and you want to hold on to them. So often it's in the revision process that gets, that sort of catch fire feeling.
So you get the idea. When you get the idea, do you also get that main character that is speaking to you at that same time, or how does that work?
You hope you do, and sometimes
maybe they can both come at once?
Sometimes they can. Sometimes you start with a main character. In this book, I wasn't even sure if it was going to be the mother or the daughter or the husband, whose point of view it was going to be, and I eventually landed with the mother. So I knew, in this case, I knew the story was on, but I didn't know whose point of view I'd be telling it from. Sometimes it's the other way. Sometimes you have a voice, but you really just can't figure out how to build the plot. And then things just, with a crime novel, which this is, or suspense novel, I suppose, you really plot matters so much. You want the reader to keep turning the pages, so you really need to have a plot that just draws their eyes and doesn't let them go. And also, in this book, as you went forth with the idea, the character is speaking to you, you're going along with that. Did you know the ending at the time? I did. I have to know the ending when I start. Sometimes it changes. That's the place you're going to, right? Yeah, exactly. No, it feels like I always call it the motel sign in the dark road. Like if you don't see that sign, you don't really know where you're going. And I think that's really important. I know some writers who write entirely, they call them pantsers because they write, off the seat of their pants, but I'm not that way. I have to know where it ends up. I'm not an outliner. I don't plot, beat by beat, but I do have to know where I want to end, where I need to be. And when we talk about the discipline of writing, do you have set times? I've talked to authors where they say, hey, well, every day
from this hour to this hour. How do you work your craft? Is it a discipline like that?
It is, and I wish I were one of those. I know some writers who can write anywhere, and they have an hour. They're at the airport. They can pull out their laptop and do it. I am not one of those writers. I have to be at the computer all day. I have to, I can't make lunch plans. I can't, anything to get me out of the head will be disastrous for me because I'll never go back to the computer. So I really devote my day time. I start very early and I go till about mid to late afternoon, and I just commit myself to it. Sometimes I come out of it with 4 pages, sometimes out with 4 sentences. You never know.
And in the case of the book, You Will Know Me, and I'll hold it up for those that are tuning in on YouTube, how long did it take to write this book?
It took the first draft, I'd say maybe 11 months, and then another 6 months of revision. So for crime writers, that's sort of in between. I know some crime writers that can bang out a really fast first draft, but I know some who are, who are even slower than me.
Wow, and that's great. That's dedication, too.
Yeah.
Plus, you get so attached to it, I would think, along the way. How do you know when it's time? When you wrote the last page?
Yeah, usually, I often write the last page earlier. Sometimes it comes to me, but when I reach the end, sometimes it's just like it's time to leave that world. It's almost like they're pushing you out. Your characters are saying, "We're done with you. We don't need you anymore."
Well, Megan, also let's tell people about your website if they want to see all your books there and the book You Will Know Me. What is the site?
It's meganabbott.com. 2 B's, 2 T's.
That's too easy.
Yes.
And I strongly recommend the book You Will Know Me by Megan Abbott. Megan, thank you for being on the show.
Thank you so much.
And welcome back. Real Estate Matters with Stuart Title, your host, Bill Nampick. And now we're going to talk to Steve Kiles with Legacy Mutual Mortgage Company. He is here. We're going to talk about money. Welcome to the show, Steve.
Bill, it's great to be here and to be with you. Love being here.
As always. Well, we're glad to have you here. We're going to talk about money and people. Boy, we talk about transactions. The rates have never been lower, or have they?
Exceptional. 2 times in history over the last 40-plus years where rates have been this low.
So we're fortunate that you were able to break away from all the action just to be here, huh?
Well, I came to bring free money.
Oh, there you go.
It's essentially free money. There you go.
So, Legacy Mutual Mortgage, tell people a little bit about your company and maybe some of the distinctions that you offer.
Love it. Legacy has been in business almost 15 years, and what makes Legacy unique is we're a mortgage bank that provides the option. So we have over 20 investors that we sell directly to, which gives clients a competitive advantage. So instead of going to someone like Chase or Wells Fargo or Citi or many of the other investors, we're actually able to take a client's information and see who has the most competitive product in the marketplace that day. So what most people don't know, Bill, is that the rates and the markets change every single day. And so Legacy has a unique advantage in the fact that we're navigating who's the best fit for that client without the client having to go to 4 or 5 different investors or lenders.
So it sounds like then the client gives you their information, income-wise, how much the loan that they might be looking for, and then they sit back and you do the work for them.
We do the heavy lifting for them, and so this is what we're pros at. We're great at building a financial plan, and here's what makes it a little bit unique as well. If you've ever heard of somebody going through the process and then their loan being declined or a challenge coming up at the end of the process, most of the time, if you're with one lender, you're stuck and you have to start over. And with Legacy, if something were to come up unexpected, we can move that loan to a different investor and never even have to change anything in the process. So,
interesting. Sounds like you have that covered.
We do.
Also, it seems like what is the length of time these days? I know there have been changes at the end of last year, but what is the length of time? Let's say someone starts from scratch. I'm the buyer, and I say, this is the amount that I want to spend, or this is the loan, or the kind of house I want to buy price-wise, and here's my income situation. I've been employed X amount of years. What is the length of time before I become pre-approved or pre-qualified?
Yeah, great
and
question.
Explain those terms for someone that's listening.
Well, hey, those are both great questions. So there are 2 distinctions, and especially in today's Houston market, it's extremely hot. We're seeing multiple offers, and there is a difference between pre-qualified and pre-approved. So a pre-qualification is simply somebody working through the information over the phone and then reviewing credit but not providing documents. So what everyone wants in today's marketplace is what's called a pre-approval. And that means that buyer or consumer is going as far as they can go until they actually submit an offer or get a contract accepted. So pre-approved is really where you want to be, and where most lenders are taking up to 2 weeks. Legacy and our team is completing pre-approvals in about 48 to 72 hours.
So once I'm pre-approved, I go to the realtor and say, hey, let's look at homes. And then that way that puts me in a position to be able to act fast, right?
Act fast, absolutely. Hey, it also does this too, Bill. You know, most people don't think about a mortgage as a financial plan, but one of the things we do a little bit different is when somebody calls and they say, hey, I found this $600,000 home, one of my first questions is two things. What's your target for monthly payment, and what's your target for cash to close? And with a few questions, knowing what to ask and what you're looking for, we can make sure that what they're buying fits within their monthly, not only budget, but what their plan is. So we really are strategic with a mortgage. It's more than a commodity. You can utilize a mortgage to help you exponentially grow wealth. And that's what we do. We're mortgage strategists.
Man,
Isn't that a good name or a good term?
Yeah, I love that term. I love
it.
words, and that is a super word.
Yeah.
But
Here's
another question. Let's say somebody, how often do you run into someone that may have a lot of assets and they say, man, I could buy the house outright.
Cash.
Let's take the
for sure.
$600,000 price right now, but I could buy that home outright, but maybe I want to get a really low interest rate. Do you run into people that do that?
Yeah, it's interesting, and I have one actually from yesterday. It's about a $550 price point. He could pay cash for it. And when I spoke with him, I said, do you mind if I ask you a question? Why? And he said, well, I've got the cash. And really, when you challenge somebody on not only where the rates are at, but if that money could be used in another asset or at another place, oftentimes financing makes a lot of sense, especially when you can do a 15-year fixed rate loan for as low as 2.625.
It's incredible.
That's insane.
Yeah.
So somebody buying a $600,000 house, if you want the best of both worlds, put half down, put it on a 15-year fixed, 2.625, probably very little closing cost. And the great news is the loans don't have prepayment penalties, so you could pay it off at any time. But once you put that money towards the equity of a home, the only way to withdraw it is through a cash-out refi, which can be expensive. So it's a great way and a great strategy to leverage a mortgage.
Interesting. And that word you just said, refi. How's that going these days?
Well, my question to listeners would be, how many of you would like a raise? I can give you a raise today.
Just by refi, right?
Just by calling me.
That's a good idea. What's your phone number while you're on that topic?
It's 281-701-4521. 281-701-4521. Hey, and Bill, you know what's funny? The reason why I said that was because I just gave somebody a $1,000 raise last week. So I just logged in.
You're just helping the world. I love that.
One mortgage
Just
at
like
a time.
me.
I feel like I should wear a cape.
Well, no doubt. But the thing that's interesting is as you said that when you ask that person the question about why they should pay cash or not pay cash, they stop and think. And that's what happens.
Yeah.
You and I were in the real estate profession, realtors, mortgage people, title people. We're all in the real estate profession. We're doing this every day. But the buyer, the seller,
Sure.
most of them, unless they're investors, doing this all the time. Most of them don't stop and think about these things. So we really do have the opportunity to serve people and help them
Absolutely.
with their portfolio and with where they're going to live. So it's very important to help them think through things because
Sure.
it's a gigantic process.
Yeah. Well, and you know, Bill, there's a difference between an order taker and a financial planner. And what I mean by that is more of a strategist. And so what my team and I do is we ask the questions that most people don't ask. When usually it's a consumer driving it saying, hey, I want the lowest rate and fee. My question would be, if we can get you the lowest cost over the life of your loan, are you open to that? And when we show somebody a different way, you see the light bulbs go off and they realize rate and fee is what marketing has taught you to ask. But what's the better question is, what's the best financial plan and how do I get the lowest cost over the life of the loan? And that's what we're really good at doing, and we move at a very quick pace. Hey, you asked what was a competitive advantage. Most banks are taking 45 to 60 days to close. We're closing in 25 to 30 days. So Legacy we're very nimble and very quick in the process, but very thorough on the front end, which ensures there's no uh-ohs or surprises.
And let's tell people also, I think you would be concerned if you were going to get that loan. The first thing you may think is, gee, I want to lock it in, but it may go lower.
Yeah.
So how does that work when we engage your services?
Great question. So one of the things Legacy does, which is another unique selling.
I mean, I want
product.
the lowest, and if it goes lower, I want that too before we close. Is that possible?
Absolutely. So see,
I want it all.
You do want it all, and I'm going to help you get it all. So here's what we're going to do. We have a float down policy. So if the markets move lower, then you're going to be able to take advantage of the markets moving lower. When you lock in, you're hedging from rates going up. And so it gives us a little bit of a competitive advantage in that regard as well, because you get best of both worlds.
I like that. That sounds
Come
relaxing.
on.
Float down. I want to just
Float
float
down.
on down to that lowest
I'm gonna
possible
make you-
rate. Steve, tell people your website, please.
It's going to be www.skt.legacymutual.com.
And the phone number again?
281-701-4521.
Very nice. Ladies and gentlemen, Steve Kyles with Legacy Mutual Mortgage. Stay tuned as we move on with the show after these important words. Thank you, Steve.
Thank you, Bill.
Stewart Title has been serving Texas for over 120 years. A Texas treasure, Stewart Title's longevity is a testimony to superior service, innovation, and knowing what their customers want. Recent surveys show that 92% of respondents want secure online tracking tools to help them during the closing process. Stewart Title offers the most robust and secure system to track transactions online available today. To learn more, contact Stewart Title at one of their many offices around the city. Stewart Title, online at stewart.com. That's STEWART.com.
And now we have Mr. Ses Guerra with Better Homes and Gardens. We're going to talk real estate. Welcome to the show, Ses.
Hi, Bill. It's great to see you again.
Well, Ses, tell us about your company and kind of the area that you serve here in the Houston area.
Okay. I'm with Better Homes and Gardens Real Estate, and of course, it's under the auspices of Better Homes and Gardens. Everybody's familiar with the magazine and the national branding that Better Homes and Gardens has with the expertise in all things on the interior, home decorating, cooking, do-it-yourself projects, and now with the real estate arm of the corporation, which is the real estate, Better Homes and Gardens Real Estate.
So if I buy a home from you, it's a better home maybe? Or that's just
Of course,
theoretically, right?
Of course. I'm gonna work with you. If you're my client, I'm gonna work with you to find the best house at the best price in your timeline that fits the needs and the criteria that you provide for me.
Well, also, Seth, I was looking at your website, and you really have a nice website, some great videos that describe not just the way you serve your clients and buyers and sellers alike, but also how you focus on certain areas of town. One of the areas that you talk about is, I guess you live in the Tanglewood area.
Yes, I do. I'm a 10-year resident of Tanglewood, and what I like to tell folks that I meet on the boulevard and in the local restaurants is that who's better to sell your house than your neighbor? You know, I really know the neighborhood. I know the things that allow people to gravitate to the neighborhood, and all the ins and outs of the homeowners association and the features and benefits that make living in Tanglewood such a great thing for the residents.
And also Tanglewood, let's describe, if someone's listening, let's say outside of Houston,
Right.
let's describe Tanglewood. Give them a picture, because it is really a beautiful area, and I live like right across the street from Tanglewood.
Right. It really is. It's centrally located to Houston on the west side of the Loop 610, just north of the Galleria. It is a development that started in the 50s and has gone through significant gentrification. So I would say that 90 to 95% of the houses have been built within the last 10, 15 years or so. They've been the tear downs and the new rebuilds.
Now, I don't know if you saw the documentary. I think it's called Post Oak Legacy. I forget. Did you see that?
I've been told about it, and I have not seen it, but it's something that's on my to-do list.
In fact, Tanglewood plays a very prominent part of that documentary, but it also shows that area of town, like many areas, it was just kind of like the Wild West, not that many years ago, but it's grown so fast. And also we want to tell people that may not know about Tanglewood, boy, the homes are very, they're expensive for most people's budget, but they are magnificent, most of them, and just very beautiful.
Right. They are beautiful high-end homes. The lot sizes range from, say, 15,000 square feet to I've seen some on the upper side of 35,000 square feet. Beautiful trees, lush gardens and landscapes. Again, centrally located, easy to get down to the central business district downtown, easy to get to either airport, shopping, theaters, restaurants, all within just a few minutes of a drive from Tanglewood.
Well, let's tell people, as far as the Tanglewood area goes, how's the marketplace there right now?
Right. All the statistics that we've seen lately from HAR is telling us that the houses are selling. Inventories are up a little bit, but the houses are selling. It's just taking a little bit longer than normal. And so what really is flying off the shelf, so to speak, are the houses that are in the $400,000 to $500,000 range and below. So on the periphery of Tanglewood, you can find houses, townhouses and condos in that range, and those properties are selling a little more briskly and in some cases receiving multiple offers.
Now, a lot of the homes in Tanglewood are $2, $3, even $4 or $5 million, right?
Yes, yeah.
So let's say someone's listening there and wants to list their home. How would you coach that seller?
Well, I would definitely want to meet with a person, first off, face-to-face, and introduce them to my team. And then also, well, not necessarily team, but my crew of licensed coworkers, and work with them, find out what their motivations are for selling, how quickly they want to sell the property. I would provide all kinds of detailed statistics that compare similar homes, how long those homes were on the market and what they sold for, what they were initially listed at, and what the ending selling price was, so that they can get a good idea of the valuation of their house and how, in the end, what they can expect to sell their house for.
Now, also changing gears just a bit, we talk about the $5 million, $4 million market. I would think all around, but you serve people in other areas of town,
of course,
at other price points.
Yes.
But also, I would think that even though the market may have slowed down a little bit this year, or maybe a lot, depending again on the price point and area of town, boy, the interest rates are so low. I mean, I saw a situation just the other day where it was a $5 million real estate transaction where the interest rate was 2.5. I mean, my goodness, it's a time to buy.
Yeah, you teed that one up for me, because I was just thinking that, the high end's a little bit more designed for a seasoned person that has bought and sold numerous homes, but for the first-time home buyer, it is a great time to buy a house because the interest rates are so low. And we've got the marketing engine of Better Homes and Gardens behind us that will help us research and evaluate properties and help the first-time home buyer through the process, a sometimes difficult process of buying a home, and connecting them up to the right title company, to the right lender, the inspectors, and everybody that's required in the process, because it can be a little bit confusing from time to time.
And I also say, well, certainly the right title company. I would strongly recommend Stewart Title.
Why not?
Locations, 30 locations all around the city. And a lot of people don't know, Sess, we've been in business for over 122 years and started right down the road in Galveston, Texas.
Right.
That blows my mind. 122 years. Our birthday comes up October 123. But also, let's take that. Let's say someone's looking to spend in your area that you serve, not just Tanglewood. Let's say they want to spend $600,000 and I'm a buyer. How do you coach that buyer at this point in time? And they say, I just want to be as close to Tanglewood as possible, or even just a little bit inside the loop. Can I find something at 600?
Yes, absolutely. I wouldn't say necessarily coach, but more or less guide and find out what their motivations are, what their hot buttons are, what type of property. Is it a single family home? Is it a condo or a townhouse that they're looking for? Are they looking for a short commute, or are they looking for a gated community perhaps? So all of these things are available to us to help find a list of houses that meet that criteria in that budget and in the geographic area that they're looking for. So then we go about setting up the appointments and evaluating the homes eyeball to eyeball.
Very nice. Sess, would you tell people how they can reach you?
Yes, first off, the best way is to call me, 713-298-6070, or hit the website, tanglewoodluxuryrealestate.com.
And one more time on the phone number?
713-298-6070.
And I would encourage, go to that website. You'll see Sess in action. You'll see him there with his videos. And in the meantime, you are listening to Real Estate Matters with Stuart Title, Bill Nampick hosting, and we're going to take a short break and come right back after these important words. Thank you, Sess.
Thank you, Bill.
Stuart Title has been serving Texas for over 120 years. A Texas treasure, Stuart Title's longevity is a testimony to superior service, innovation, and knowing what their customers want. Recent surveys show that 92% of respondents want secure online tracking tools to help them during the closing process. Stuart Title offers the most robust and secure system to track transactions online available today. To learn more, contact Stuart Title at one of their many offices around the city. Stuart Title, online at Stuart.com. That's STEWART.com.
Most people don't know that Stewart offers business, home, and auto insurance. In fact, Stewart Insurance and Risk Management has been doing that and more for over 10 years. And they partner with many leading insurance companies to offer great rates. They're a national insurance agency operating in all 50 states, delivering a broad range of insurance products. Whether you need a home insurance quote for a client's home closing or your own insurance needs, you can count on them. Call 866-845-4676. That's 866-845-4676. Stewart Insurance and Risk Management is here to help.
And welcome back. Real Estate Matters with Stuart Title. We are now with Mr. Greg Johnson. He is the founder of an organization called Night of Superstars. Greg, thank you and welcome to the show.
Thanks for having us, and thank you, Steve Kiles, for inviting me.
Steve Kiles was very instrumental in your appearance here today. And
Absolutely.
As always, we certainly talk real estate. We talk about things to help people, but also you have an organization where when we talk about helping people, let's tell people what Night of Superstars is.
Night of Superstars is a very grand red carpet event, very much like the Academy Awards, and complete with red carpets and celebrities and limos and dinner and awards ceremony. However, our honored celebrities are 15 kids from the Houston, kids and young adults from the Houston area who are affected by varying types of disabling conditions, but are really reaching beyond their adversities and excelling in academics, athletics, the arts, community service. You know, kids that have just these amazing, wow stories of success that are not only, inspiring to us, but also very humbling.
And when you talk about those conditions, what are some of the things that there are their challenges?
Oh my gosh! I mean, we cover the spectrum from spina bifida, heart conditions, amputees, cancer, autism. I mean, both physical and/or intellectual challenges.
Interesting. Well, right up front, in case someone is by their computer, let's tell them the website so they can go and look as we talk.
It's nightofsuperstars.org. O-R-G.
Very nice. Also, now you are the founder of this organization. Mm-hmm. Let's tell people, what was your inspiration for starting this great cause?
Oh, that goes way back, probably when I was in my mother's womb and she was volunteering at church. And, as I grew older, of course, and sat on boards and committees, and my favorite part was always volunteering and, having that face-to-face time with the kids and their families. And, throughout the years, when you're at these events and you're talking to the parents, of course, every parent is proud of their children, but there are some children that are just outstanding and, like I said, have those wild stories. So I just, like I said, there would always be a handful of parents at these events that you're talking to, and they're just talking so casually about their children. And for example, a boy who's got leukemia, who's missed 6 months of school, in the hospital, and he's not only doing well in school, he's on the honor roll. And I'm thinking, how in the world is this kid doing this? And they're like, oh, well, he's got tutors coming to, the to the hospital, and he's got he does all his work online. I'm saying, well, how's he fighting the fatigue of the chemo and everything else that's going on? And they're just, I don't know, he just does it. He's got a great attitude. And, it's at this point that after all these stories just started piling up, I was going, I wonder if these kids have any idea the significance they have on our lives. Not that, because they're so used to the doctors, and the hospital staff, the families and friends, kind of catering to them. And I just questioned whether they knew what a significant impact they had on our lives. And so, I feel it was God inspired that we just had, we had to let them know. And
wow. Well, also, how long has the organization, how long have you had this?
We founded in Dallas in 2005, and due to overwhelming popularity, we went into St. Louis, and, because people would hear about it, and they just say, we want this in our city. And St. Louis was the first one. Then we branched into Fort Worth, and then East Texas, and now Houston.
Wow. Now, let's tell them again, nightofsuperstars.org. And on the site, let's say someone wants to help. How can they help?
Money, money, money. Of course.
There you go. Yeah. Money is kind of the driver of a lot of things.
Yeah,
yes.
Absolutely. The event started as just an event to really honor the children and the young adults for their achievements, and it's turned in now to we're really spearheading our Superstar College Scholarship program and our entrepreneurial program as well. So where small to medium-sized businesses were our bread and butter just to make the event happen, now we're really hitting up the corporations to pad that scholarship fund, because that's what we want to do, is really see these children through every major stage of their life and help them reach their maximum potential. Now,
the Night of Superstars actually happens once a year, is that correct?
Yes, here in Houston.
And when will that be here in Houston?
It'll be September 10th at the Omni Houston Hotel near the Galleria.
No doubt about it. And that's coming up real soon. Boy,
yes, it
here
is.
we are in August.
Write those checks.
Yeah, get the checks. But also during the year, I'm going to guess people can help almost at any level. Is that true?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Obviously, the businesses love to, come in and sponsor. But we also have all kinds of events with the Superstars to keep them all tied in. We have
throughout the year, you mean?
Throughout the year. Top Golf is one of our presenting sponsors, so we always have, superstar events out there where our sponsors and potential sponsors and people can come and join us. We do have a league of our own out at Top Golf in Spring right now going on. It's a special needs golf club where, they get to come out and learn the game of golf and Top Golf and all that. But all throughout the year we have stuff like that to keep our sponsors plugged in, and it's amazing the relationships, with the children and their families between our sponsors and our celebrity escorts that just continue, because you can't walk away after September 10th.
No doubt about it. In fact, that is inspiring when what you were saying in the very beginning about the attitude that some of these children display. Mm-hmm. That is encouraging that they have that attitude. And like you said, it is gratifying to those around them, and even Absolutely. Those that try to help. They're actually helping us, right?
Exactly. And we do the bait and switch. Our guest, we pack the ballroom at 550. In Dallas, we have over 1,000 coming, but we do that bait and switch because everybody feels that they're coming to make these kids feel good and support them and show them that, hey, we notice what you're doing, which is true. But then everybody else leaves more blessed than actually the children do. So, because you look at these kids as living examples of how we should handle our adversity. Because if anybody had the right to complain about their circumstances, Exactly. It's them. And we want to. The reason they're so successful is because their perspective on their adversities. If they sat there and go, "Why me? Why me?" and this isn't fair, like we often do, over just silly circumstances, a lost business deal, a flat tire, whatever it is. And if we learn to champion through those and keep a joyful attitude, then we can be superstars. We can be superstar parents,
Yeah, these children are very inspiring, no doubt about it. And it does make you think when we talk about our own challenges or think of our own challenges, and they pale on our toughest day.
Oh, yeah.
Some of the children you're talking about just march through it with more courage than we can muster up, apparently. But that's why they're inspirational, but it's also great that we are able to help. Once again, let's tell them the website, Greg.
It's nightofsuperstars.org, O-R-G.
And coming up here in Houston in September. Now, also you have them in Dallas and other cities. You said St. Louis?
Dallas,
Louis as
East
well?
Texas, Tyler, St. Louis. We're launching in Nashville with...
You ought to get some
just
good musical
amazing.
guests on that
Oh,
one.
my gosh, it's amazing. Last year we had, here in our first year, we had, of course, Carolyn Farb and Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick, Dan Pastorini, all these great people escorting the kids. And we'll have another set of great people escorting the kids this year as well.
Very nice. Mr. Greg Johnson, founder of Night of Superstars. You can go to nightofsuperstars.org. Thank you, Greg, for being on the show.
Thank you.
Very nice. And stay tuned. You are listening to Real Estate Matters with Stuart Tuttle, your host, Bill Nampick. Stay tuned after these important words.
If you've been in the real estate industry for any length of time, you know unexpected and costly events can happen. Safeguard yourself against the unexpected with Real Estate Errors and Omissions Insurance, or E&O, through Stewart Insurance and Risk Management. Not all E&O insurance policies are created equal. How confident are you that your current E&O policy fully protects you? Stewart Insurance and Risk Management offers expertise in the real estate industry and tailors your coverage to correctly manage your risk. With Stewart Insurance and Risk Management, facing the unexpected just became a lot easier. Safeguard your future with real estate E&O insurance through Stewart Insurance and Risk Management. Call today at 866-845-4676. That's 866-845-4676. Or email us at stewartinsurance@stewart.com to request tailored insurance options for you and your business.
And welcome back, Real Estate Matters with Stuart Tuttle. And as I mentioned at the beginning of the show, we are sponsored by Stewart Insurance and Risk Management. People know Stuart Tuttle. We're glad they do. I also mentioned we've been in business 122 years. Don't look a day over 90, though. We have title insurance, but many people don't know that we also have home, auto, brokers, E&O insurance, all kinds of insurance. Our sponsor is sitting right here, Brittany Taggart. Brittany, welcome to the show.
Hey, Bill. Good to be back.
And, of course, you're called Stewart Insurance and Risk Management. They just go to Stewart.com. They can find the full menu.
They can. So we have an insurance tab, our own little insurance tab on Stewart.com, and you can find personal insurance, like Bill said, home, auto, flood, umbrella, all of that good stuff. And if you operate within the real estate industry, if you're a real estate broker, title agent, lender, you can find our commercial insurance products on there as well.
And I like what Steve said earlier. When he gets someone that lower rate, he's giving them a raise. So when you find someone a lower rate on their insurance, they're getting a raise.
Yes, exactly. And what's interesting, what's the same, I guess, about Legacy and about Stewart Insurance and Risk Management is we're also a broker. We have many insurance markets that we go to provide our customers insurance. So it's not Stewart's insurance.
So you were thinking the same thing
Yeah,
when
I
he
was,
saying
exactly.
that. Yeah.
And so we go out and we find you not only the best rate when it comes to insurance, but we also find you the coverage that's going to best fit you. Every location is different. Every situation, every customer is different. And we try to find the insurance product that's specifically tailored to you. And there's another thing that I picked up on, which was what marketing has told us to think about certain things. And I think that in insurance, it's very similar. Marketing has told us to think it's a commodity, save 15% in 15 minutes. We all know that. But it's not a commodity. Every insurance policy is not created equal. And that's what we're really out to go educate our customers about. You have to have the insurance that's right for you because this is one of your largest assets when it comes to home. Your home insurance. So we want to protect you properly.
It makes me think of that. Life's so complicated. We there's fine print in everything we do.
There
But
is.
the nice thing about Stewart Insurance and Risk Management is that I could actually talk to a human being if I don't want to read every page of the policy. And you could say, hey, it's like this or it's not like this.
We are 100% human at Stewart Insurance and Risk Management. So yes, we can talk to us. You don't have to know all the fine print because we do. And we're going to educate you about your policy and what's covered and what you need to to be properly protected.
And I like to encourage people, too. They don't need to wait till they get the insurance renewal to say, oh, I wonder if I have the right price, the right coverage. I say do it now while you're thinking about it. What's that phone number, Brittany?
So the phone number is 866-798-2827. That's going to be directly to our team there. So it's not going to be a machine. Like I said, you get to talk directly to a person.
I called somewhere the other day. I forget what it was, but I wanted to talk to a human, but I got this recording, and I just waited to try to outsmart it so it would maybe go to the it didn't do it right away. It says, I'm sorry, I didn't get that. I'm sorry, that's not a valid. I'm like, man, that's
the worst. Especially when you just press 0 and you're like hoping, but it doesn't go to a person. So no, and you expect that with some insurance companies, but you get to talk directly to one of our advisors. And like I said, we're there to educate you and to tell you a little bit about your insurance and how you're properly covered.
You have a full team there, and I say it all the time. Tom Carpentier, very innovative individual, leading the company in a magnificent way there at Stewart Insurance and Risk Management, doesn't he?
Yes, he does.
Maybe he'll come back on the show one of these days if we keep complimenting him.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, maybe in a couple weeks or so.
No doubt about it. That would be nice. But also, you have a full armada of great people that are there to serve yourself. Tom, Michelle, Stefan, name some of the other superstars right there at your company.
So I actually wanted to tell you that our associate that won some Astros tickets yesterday was Debbie Kinslow. And yeah, so you brought by some tickets for
that's right,
for the person that was most educational to our customers.
And I will say this, when we talk about the tickets that we've gotten at Stewart Title, they're not just any tickets. They are 7 rows from the dugout. So
I was a little bit jealous, but that's okay. That's okay.
You need to get a set of
they
tickets.
do a really great job every single day, and we go through training every single day to make sure we're providing top-notch service. So
spectacular. Tell people again the website, Brittany.
So the website is stewart.com. You can go over the insurance tab and find the insurance products that are best for you.
Man, you got it all. Insurance for all my needs. Watercraft. What if I have a jet ski?
We can definitely do that too.
Unbelievable.
Do you have one?
I do not.
Okay,
I don't want
maybe
one
next
either,
week.
but,
Maybe you need to get one soon.
I'm trying to keep my life simple. Somehow that's not working out. But in the meantime, once again, website and phone number?
So the website is stewart.com, and the phone number is 866-845-4676.
Very nice. Thank you, Brittany. And now, if you want to buy a home, we have a realtor that's going to come in right back on the show. His name is Seth Guerra. Welcome back, Seth.
Yeah, thanks, Bill.
Very exciting, huh? That makes you want to get some insurance, doesn't it?
Well, I tell you what, I've got a great new contact in my toolbox.
No doubt about it. And I'll tell you what, the thing about Houston, I will say this. I don't care if you're in the title business, mortgage, you're a realtor. There's so much competition in everything we do. There's a lot of title companies. There's a lot of realtors. But I think the good thing of that competition, it keeps us sharp, doesn't it?
It really does. And what I tell people is there's enough room out there for everybody. Just do your best, do quality work, provide the customer service that people are looking for, and things will work out the way that you want them to.
No doubt about it. And I always like to aim to exceed expectations. I know we do that at our company. Give us an idea as we look at the market right now from not necessarily in Tanglewood, but anywhere. What do you see, say, for the rest of the year as we wind it down? Boy, we're coming up on September and August. We're blown through the year.
Well, I think I'm the eternal optimist. And like Steve Kyle said, mortgage rates are low, so it's a great time to buy, which means it's a great time to sell. And I'd love to set up a meeting and consult with anybody that's considering either option. If you call me at 713-298-6070, you will get a human being. And
boy, humans are everywhere, aren't
yes,
they?
Yes, and otherwise, go to the website at tanglewoodluxuryrealestate.com. There's a wealth of information on there. Work very hard on the blog to provide all kinds of consumer information and resources that will help consumers make an informed decision.
Very nice. Ladies and gentlemen, Seth Guerra, and now he's back, Mr. Steve Kyle.
Yes,
Steve.
sir. Yes, sir. Hey, well, and I was going to say, too, with Seth, you know what's so good is most of the people, even when you're talking about a refinance, I love a partnership with a great realtor because half the people who look at refinancing realize they have so much equity in their home and they can cash that equity out and make the move-up purchase. And so it's a great opportunity. We'd love the just the chance to run numbers and help you build a financial plan. If we can help you in the future, my phone number is 281-701-4521. Hey, and Bill, let me just do one quick plug for my friend Greg Johnson. Night of Superstars is such a tremendous event, and it is really about taking these children. They've refused to settle in current circumstances and to rise above. And I love what Greg's doing, and I know many of us in the real estate community are getting around him. I have the Houston's Real Estate Power Team. So we've bought a table. It's $2,500. And I would encourage everybody to be a part of this event because it's absolutely life-changing. And so we just love our friendship with them and even the agents that are, just that want to make a difference in real estate. Here's what we believe. We need to connect, grow, and make a difference. We get the opportunity to serve Houston as a great community. And that's why I love Greg Johnson and what they're doing at Night of Superstars.
Very nice. No doubt. Very important work. Greg, on that note, let's tell them again about the nightofsuperstars.org, right? He kind of blew us away with that, didn't he?
Turn that back to Steve.
I didn't mean to take over, but I just got to give you a plug.
Steve.
I love what you're doing.
Well, one of the things I will say is this, that people in the real estate profession, mortgage, realtors, even guys in the title business and gals in the insurance business, boy, we all like to give back. And that's why it's so important when we hear about an organization. People may have heard about your organization, but it is new to a lot of people. So let's tell them again, nightofsuperstars.org. And if they want to help, what should they do, Greg?
As Steve said, the event's coming around pretty quickly. So if you just purchase a table, it's $2,500. It's a table of 10. And the beautiful thing about this is you actually get to see your efforts at work. You see the kids and the young adults and the families that you're helping because it's tangible. They're there, and you're seeing that level of excitement. And, most people get a little emotional at it, but it's a good emotion. And it really makes you want to be better. So it's just an incredible event.
And I will tell people when they go to your website, they will see just like in this room, there are a lot of smiles on the website. And you could see through those pictures and those smiles the individuals that are being helped and even the helpers that are being helped. It's fascinating to see that on your site. Once again, the website, Greg?
nightofsuperstars.org.
Well, as we close out the show, here comes our sponsor again, Brittany Taggart. Brittany, I'll tell you what, as always, we've assembled a fine cast today. What else should we know about Stewart Insurance and Risk Management?
Just that we're here to help you if you're in the middle of a real estate transaction. If you're a realtor and you want to help your home buyers, we're here to help with your home insurance and make that closing process as easy as possible because being a part of Stewart Title, that's what we're here for.
Indeed. And I'll ask you a question right now. Does this show ever end?
No, it doesn't actually.
And you know why?
It's on Stewart.com /Houston.
Right.
Say it in a deeper voice, Bill.
Stewart.com /Houston. And I say that all the time because the show doesn't end. Yes, at the time of broadcast, it actually ends and another show comes on after this one. However, I will say some people can go back, and we do this show to be a resource for people in the real estate world, but for also people that are out there thinking about buying, selling, or people that just want to hear a good show. We try to make it entertaining. But Stewart.com /Houston, they can hear, this is show number 131. They can hear any show back to the first one. So we encourage you to go to that, hear some great real estate professionals and people from all over Houston and beyond. So thank you for sponsoring the show. Thank you, Tom Carpentier. Thank you, Brittany. And thank you all for listening to Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title. I am your host, Bill Nampick. I'll just say go to Stewart.com /Houston. The show never stops. And thank you for listening.